Hello, my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and this session is uh, part of Open Hearth. And we're actually playing Girl by Moonlight. We're playing on Sea of Stars. We've done a number of sessions of this, so I expect you are not coming in the middle of this, but we are working through this. This is a procedural game in terms of the different phases of play, which is based on Forged in the Dark. We, at the end of last time, figured out our fight there and our players' actions. And sorry, I had one of those days where I am way off, started off balance, and I'm trying to get back on balance. In any case, last time we got 2 new engines. And now we need to make some decisions about those engines here. We have them, and I'm going to pull up our engine and flagship. So we have 2 engines. One is big, and one is small, as it is for engines. The smaller of the 2 has that look of, as we can see in the picture book, kind of a weird luminescent body, humanoid, with a larger, like, sort of outline of a young man's head. And we kind of have a picture of that. The only thing we established fictionally, descriptively about the other one is that it's big and vaguely humanoid. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to be making some of those decisions about the names of those 2 engines. We're going to build on what Tyler developed for us for the picture of the one engine. We'll figure out about those things. And we're going to be deciding on the engine's virtues and impulses, since those are elements here that we can put into play. So I am going to start. Tyler, you gave us a description of our engine last time. And so we know kind of what they look like. What is the name that you want to use for that smaller engine?
Ooh, all right.
We have been using star and constellation and those as the template, but you can do that or something else.
Let's go with Perseus.
Okay. So that is our second engine, the smaller one. And going around, Sherry, what is Perseus's virtue?
Ooh.
Right now we have fierce, elegant, serene, and wise.
Okay, and the list of those is in the document, right?
Yes, it's the second to last tab is engines and flagship.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now all I got to do is get to my sheet again. So there we go.
It's not like I asked you to open your roller.
I know, exactly. It's almost as difficult for me. So here we go. I had this a moment ago, and
Sure.
now I've lost it. How do I do this? I literally have like, okay. Sorry, guys.
That's okay.
I know I have it open, but where do I have it open? Here it is.
Okay.
Second to last, under engines.
Okay.
It's not there.
Engines and flagship.
I know, but the list of possible ones.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
so
I was unclear.
in the middle column is engine rules, and then the next chunk after the engine rules down below that is engine virtues.
Okay. So those are, it's just from that small group of things?
Yeah, but you can also come up with something else if you can think of something interesting that you would like as a different virtue, one that may be a little easier to wrangle.
But the thing is that Perseus, so I think clever does fit. Isn't he the one that fought the He
Yeah.
used his mirrored shield.
Clash
Okay.
of the Titans. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
So we'll put clever. I'm going to misspell clever because that's ironic.
Okay.
And then Ethan, what is Perseus's impulse?
I mean, I can't not pick cursed.
Okay. So clever and cursed. Okay. Patrick, we know that this is a larger humanoid engine, but what does it look like? Like when we've got like Radiant's engine there, Lyra is quite abstract. This is humanoid, but it can be modified from that distinctly. So what do you think we see for that one?
I think it's very like crystalline and planar and angular. Humanoid, but in a sort of extreme sketch sort of way.
Okay.
I think that's part of where the bigness comes from, is the various proportions are like outsized or like bigger than they should be.
Is it monochromatic crystalline? Is it varied color crystalline? Is it translucent?
I think it's partially translucent.
Okay.
It's not quite like monochromatic, like glowing single color animation,
Mm-hmm.
but it is like a blue green sort of range.
Okay. Yeah. Blue-green hues of this crystalline,
So
larger.
you could have some like patterning or gradation or whatever.
Okay. And Ethan, Zavi, what is the name of this engine?
The smaller one. Let's go with Altair.
Okay. And Tyler, Octavius, what do you want as Altair's virtue? Well, we have fierce, elegant, serene, wise, clever. We have some other examples in the list, but we can also come up with something else. What would you like as the virtue for this larger crystalline figure?
I think I like brave.
Brave, nice. And Patrick, what is this brave little engine's impulse?
Do we somehow not have a haunted mech? We need a haunted mech.
We now have a haunted mech. I think it actually makes sense that the two mechs that you pulled out of that Leviathan have cursed and haunted as their aspects. I think that's really appropriate, and certainly fits for that. These engines are intact. They do not have damage to them, unlike Lyra, Pegasus, and Charon, who all have suffered damage. So we've got our phases here to go through. And one of the first ones that we're going to be doing is the obligation phase. But let's talk about where we are. We are back on the ship. We are back after damage being done to the last Bastion. We are back there. Probably operations officers and tech from your main vessel are heading down to the Bastion to help out, going back and forth. So you can be on the ship carrying out this obligation mission or phase, or down on Bastion during this time, and so on. Now I'll remind you that 2 of your characters are in Eclipse, and that is Sia and Zavi. And that is a thing that is there to be considered. So let's start with Octavius. So in the obligation phase, we're going to see you do that. You're going to roll your lowest attribute, which is Moon.
Yes, it is.
Okay. And Moon is obligations that break your heart and drive you to despair. So let's have you make that roll. I've got to bring the roller up.
1d6.
1d6.
And I got a 3 instead of a 4 this time. How nice.
Okay. So you are going to suffer 3 stress. What do you think after that incident with the Leviathan and that collapse, and you've come back? There was a danger in the Bastion itself. What is it that kind of hits you? Is it some personal realization? Is it seeing that someone you know has been injured? What do you think that is?
Can I make a suggestion?
Absolutely.
Because I had a sort of dramatic idea for when we got back of I'm in the Eclipse, which mine talks about like rejecting all the aspects of my everyday self and fully embracing the superior self. And I think when we get back, 2 things happen, and one is that Radiant, after like the mission's over and we've docked, goes and starts staying in the suite of rooms that's like assigned, but he's never been in before. And the next morning, there's a note on Sia's door saying that he's like run away. He can't handle it. He hopped a ship and he's gone.
Mm.
So what does Octavius do when that happens?
I imagine I freak out. That throws everything into bad states. My personal thoughts and my purpose for being here. And I suppose I will begin, I would try my best to like see, I'm trying to probably like go through footage from when we were gone to see if I could find Sia in anything, and of course there is no seer there.
He's an engineer. He's clearly modified surveillance or erased the footage or something. And I think the other thing that will stress you out is like you're like, okay, well, I've got to go down to Bastion, or I've got to do this, or I've got to get resources. And they're like, we're in the middle of things. We're in the middle of reconstructing. We're in the middle of coming back from an attack. I think the bishop that you have there will say, you need to go. If you go back down to the planet, if you go to the Bastion, I need you under escort. We can't risk anything.
That's fine. That's fine. This is very important, Your Grace.
Yeah, and I this taxes you because you don't find him. Manon, what is your lowest attribute? My muted friend who doesn't have their name changed.
I'm just full of flaws today. I'm sorry. Starting over.
You're also in some sort of wuxia background.
Oh, it's so cool, isn't it?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna fix that.
We're on the holodeck.
I am. I needed to relax a little. I'll do this actually. Let's see here. Sometimes Zoom does a weird thing where it decides that I'm someone other than I was the other day when I was on it. It gives me a different set of things. Okay, I'm just gonna use that for the time being. All right. Hi, it's Manon. She's ready to go. She's gonna roll 2d6 as soon as she finds her roller.
But
So
there's a more important question before you begin that.
Oh, yeah.
Which would you like to roll with? Sun, meaning your obligation involves scary people or circumstances or is physically taxing. Moon, your obligation breaks your heart and drives you to despair. Or stars, your obligation puts you under social pressure or sets off your anxiety.
that's interesting. How about the breaks my heart one? Because there's a lot of sad things going on here. So that's Moon, I think.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm rolling 2d6. I get a 5.
So you will lose just 1 point, or rather take just 1 point of stress. Cora stops you and sits you down. I'm very sorry. The attack on Bastion. One of the cathedrals was struck. Some of the children that we had placed there did not survive. Most of them did. Most of them are still alive, but we lost 3 of them.
Could I go and visit the survivors?
Do you think that's a good idea?
Yes.
Okay. I will intercede with Bishop Cranach, but you'll need to take some security with you.
That seems reasonable.
And I do think we get a montage of you going down, of you visiting with the kids. They are desperate to show you the songs that they have been practicing, the ones that you taught them.
And we'll sing them together.
There is at least one of them who comes to you and says, sometimes the song is not enough. This place is so different. It's so loud in my head. if I start to cry, I can't stop crying.
And she thinks about it and she goes, sometimes the Bastion, it has so much, it has to push it out. If you start crying, you know that the Bastion is crying too. One of the things that you can do is just remember why it is that you yourself cry, not just the Bastion.
Yeah. Or should I say Radiant? Radiant, I believe that you are also deeply invested in heartbreak.
Yep, that's where I am right now.
Why don't you roll me a d6?
Let's see. That one, do a thing. That's 5.
That's 5. Look at that. So just 1 stress.
And if I mark it, then I take it off.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, there we go.
I think that you will be shocked when you see a couple of people from engineering as you are walking down through there. Of course, they don't recognize you. You're completely different as Radiant. But you see them and they are crying. And you kind of stop to listen in and you will hear them. I don't understand why Sia left. Why did he go? Like, we were watching out for him. I thought he was doing better since that accident with the God engine and the Leviathan. He recovered and he was back, and he seemed more. I mean, he was hanging out with the pilots and stuff. Why would he go? And why wouldn't he say goodbye to us?
And I think Radiant is just like he's very confused. Because he made such a clean, believable exit for Sia. And that he's gotten rid of this person that I'm surprised this many people even remember his name. That was such a weak part of this team. Like the whole ship is stronger. Like not even having a replacement, just not having him there, the ship is stronger for it. And it's very confusing that these people are sad about this. And like he flashes back to like the last couple days of the other pilots saying things about Sia's disappearance or being upset in one way or another about it. It just it doesn't make sense, and it drives him like, okay, so they've just got to see how wonderful everything is now. So he works harder and like trains harder and spends longer hours out with the engines, like trying to up his statistics and whatever they have for rankings.
The last thing you hear is one of the other people trying to cover these two, and they say, I know for a fact that Octavius is trying to find him. Octavius will find him and bring him back here where he's safe. He'll find him. He told me he promised me that he was going to find Sia.
Silently, Radiant's mouth just mouths Octavius.
And I hope that's okay in position there, Tyler. That brings us to our other Eclipsey. Savi, you have 2 in each. So
Yep.
where would you like the knife?
Ah, Well, I was gonna say moon because I haven't rolled that in a long time, but everyone else is going for moon too. So, uh, hmm. Let's go with stars.
Stars. Put you under social pressure or sets off your
Yeah.
anxiety.
And luckily, I did not roll snake eyes because that would have killed me.
That's right, because you don't get to clear in between.
Nope.
So you will see that there's some notes that have come over, and you kind of go to look at them, because one of the things that you had some hope for was that they have another generation of engine pilots that they've been bringing up. And one of them, certainly might be able to transcend and be better than you. But I think you will see the report that will come through. Probably you're not supposed to see this, but it will say test center struck. Generation Gamma candidates eliminated. Restarting process for search for next gen pilots. Scanning and testing procedures beginning back at step 1.
Oh, that's and they didn't even make it onto the flagship before they got killed. I think I just put it down and don't mention it to anyone.
Okay. In between all of this, the pilots will be called to a briefing with the bishop, some other people from the Argentium and the Technosphere, some of the oracular priests that they have, in particular the cyber Omioji that have been working on providing the most spectacular analysis. And I think when you're brought in, the bishops, there seems to have been an argument going on, but it looks like whatever concerns the bishop had have been kind of overruled by some other forces. And the bishop will turn. And I do think when he sees you there, Radiant, like he does a double take, because you never come to these briefings.
And Radiant does a full on unnecessarily fancy and loud salute and marches over to his place.
At ease, pilot. Then I think his eyes probably go over to Octavius, who's looking more harried than usual, I assume.
Dark circles, clearly not sleeping well.
He will call over very obviously Quora to speak with them briefly, and clearly look in your direction. You hear something about meds, dosages. Say, pilots, We have been assigned a task by the Bastion leadership. I'm going to let the senior Omioji speak to the situation. And one of these figures, everyone's dressed in ritual garb or uniform or a combination of the two, but this one will stand up and will say, as many of you know, one of the recent turning points was when we were attacked by a trio of Leviathans, and we lost several engines in pushing them back. But we also were lucky enough to gain a new engine and a new pilot, and they'll look at you, Radiant. In that particular attack, we were able to push them back, but there was damage to the Bastion that you were told of. We were able to warp out of there eventually to get us to a safe point. However, one of the Leviathans that attacked was destroyed. Another one we know was rendered outside of our time-space continuum for a time, phased out. It's a temporary measure. They'll appear somewhere down the timeline again, we expect. But the third was badly damaged, badly wounded, the one that Radiant, you, and Lyra fought. What was not revealed is that that particular Leviathan struck at one of the Theonexi and consumed one of the god nodes for Bastion itself. We have worked to bridge the gap, to use what we can to suture in place, but it is a temporary measure. Eventually, that will no longer hold. And we don't know the consequences for that. You have not been present, so you have not felt the change in pressure from the Bastion itself over time. However, we believe we have located this Leviathan. We have codenamed it Tizona. We have the jump coordinates for it. We will be sending your ship and both teams to the system. You four will be the attacking team. The other team will be defending the ship because we need to make sure that you get back. Bastion will be truly undefended during this time. But it is vital that you find Leviathan Tizona in this system, you destroy it, and you retrieve the Godhead. Are there any questions? You are dismissed. Preparations for the jump will take at least 4 days while we do the calculations. I will be going with you to assist once you get in system. So make preparations now as you can. And Bishop Cranach will turn and will say, you have your orders, you have your details. We'll be leaving soon. As of this point, no one is to go down to Bastion. I need everyone to stay on the ship. And you will be dismissed. And I imagine we cut to the 4 of you kind of walking in the hall kind of after the briefing. Manon, what are you saying to your team?
And I think she sort of stops and she goes, let's all take an hour or two to take care of some personal things, whatever those may be. I would like to meet with you and she'll give a time. We'll discuss what preparations we as a team want to make. I think that this is going to be more dependent on how we work together than anything else. I look forward to seeing you in 2 hours.
Hi, Cap. By the way, we have an advance for our sheet.
That's right.
Ooh.
That's for the series abilities, right?
Yep.
Okay. Let's talk about that before we do the last Bastion reacts, and then we do the downtime. Thoughts on what you would like? The pick you did last time was super useful.
We had looked at high alert last time, so that's kind of hanging over, but there might be others folks like. And we have the Transcendent down there too, if people want to look at those. Though I'm personally not quite as much on them, honestly.
It's sort of a shame that they're both very similar. They deal with the same thing.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of a shame.
High alert is super cool.
It is super cool. And we are kind of prep wonks. We all want to be doing more of it. I don't know. What do you think, Zabi?
I think that sounds good. Yeah. Because at the moment I have an extra downtime action, but no one else does.
That'll give us 2 to use on
Yeah.
preparations.
Which raises the readiness track, which is sort of useful. And gets gather information questions.
It's
That's cool
equal
too.
to the current Leviathan's tier track. Well, right now the tier track is 2, so we get 2 of them. Yeah, so that's not bad at all. No. It's more dice per things than all the other things that are. So I say go for dice. Oh, I'm the worst.
It's always good to investigate. We always lack investigating.
You're choosing between links and investigation all the time, and improvements that might save us. So yeah,
Commander Manon, we have an
Yeah.
issue. We have an issue in the engine bay. We need you and your team here right now.
very well. And I will send a ping to the rest of the group and say
They're right with you right there.
Oh, they're right with me. Oh,
Yeah.
I sort of turn around and say, well, let's go. And we'll turn around and go the other way to the thing.
And the 4 of you will rush down to the engine bays where they've got the now 6 engines that you have. They have the engines for the other team are in another area. But I think the thing that you'll feel is this wash of like emotional energy. And when the four of you get there, you will see that it is like a great black onyx glass coffin that is sort of hanging there in the space where Charon was. And the Legion will say, 15 minutes ago, an absolute nullity field started to emerge from Charon, and then he enveloped himself and closed himself off. We've tried to penetrate the field, but he's not responding. It may be a cycling thing or a repair thing. We're not sure.
I think Manon turns to Zavi and says, has Charon been
I did
upset?
take some damage that hasn't been fixed yet.
Can you hear him?
I don't know, can I?
No, like that has closed down.
Yeah, I mean, I go up and like, just sort of put my hand on the
Oh,
surface.
it is like you touch your
try.
hand to it and it is ice cold, like absolute zero kind of frost on that.
Yeah. So like yank my hand back, like how.
And I think you'll see the bishop has kind of followed down, having heard this, and he will say, I've seen this before with engines, not as quickly as this, but sometimes they reconfigure. It may be some time before Charon emerges from this. I need you to link up with one of the two new engines.
Yeah, okay. And I think I like look at Karahan like, okay, you do what you need to, buddy. Know how you feel. Go look at the other engines.
And that is our fallout that I didn't carry out last time. Yeah, that's the end of mission thing.
We'll need to train in completely new formations to make up for this. We'll have to spend extra hours. I can go, well, I don't have any engagements tonight. We can go pretty much all night to start getting new formations done.
Well, I'm apparently not going to Bastion anytime in the next 4 days. Like I totally hadn't intended to go hook up with my friend. So
we don't have
yeah,
time for distractions. This is a very important mission.
I just want to think that Manon is still staring at Kara, except that she's turned back and like looked at Regulus. You get the feeling that she's telling Regulus, "You better warn me."
Dude, you better not.
You better not. There. And I think Manon comes up and she goes, "Oh, this is so unexpected. Well, is there something that I can do to help?"
What were you asking?
Yeah, you, Zavi.
Sorry. I mean, I don't think so unless you've seen Charon do this before. I think it's just like a moth thing, they
Yes.
wrap themselves up in stuff and hibernate for a while and then they come out, they're different.
And I will say the bishop sort of suggested that.
Well,
I've never known him to go easy on someone, so I don't think that he's like glossing over a thing.
Okay, I mean, I'm sure if he thought it was my fault, he would say so.
Yes, yes, he's always been very forthright on those sorts of things, at least in my experience, to me. So,
Yeah. I guess I just yeah, go check out the new engines and use one of them for now.
okay.
It's a good thing we got them.
Well, let's all
hey,
go take a look.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in the downtime here. What did you end up choosing for your series pick?
High alert.
High alert.
think.
Okay.
You distracted us just as we were having that conversation,
know.
sir.
I just rolled the things for the last Bastion reacts. And I rolled 3 ticks and 3 ticks, so that will finish your upgrade. That took all of the last Bastion's actions.
Oh, poor Last Bastion's been having a tough time.
Yeah,
though.
because it can't repair them.
Okay, so what finished?
Training
then?
facility.
Oh.
For Sun.
Oh.
Yeah, I was just like looking through things, and that's another point of the readiness track is we have to keep the readiness track super high and no flagship upgrades going in order for the last Bastion track to refill itself.
Yes, that's how it works.
So what do we have to keep super high?
Readiness.
Holy shit.
Which we have extra actions to make preparations now, so that's
All right,
wonderful.
that's what we'll be doing.
And to clarify on that, the current Leviathan track is tier 3, so you get, tier 2, so you get 2 additional downtime actions.
Okay. All right.
All right. It seems like this is a good point for us actually to take our first break, just because we're about to go into downtime. Let's go ahead and do that now. And then we'll come back and start that downtime thing. So let's take our usual 10 for the first, and then we'll come back. So let's do a round of downtime actions. And then we'll talk about what we want to do with how we want to do the make preparation 2 actions. We'll see if we want to do like a team moment, and then we'll do the other round of downtime actions here. And I do want to say this is an opportunity for us to, if you want to call scenes sort of in between, like I know Octavius, you wanted to have a scene with Radiant, so we can do that kind of in between the downtimes there. But Tav, what do you want to start with? What do you want to do as your first downtime action?
I want to do a flashback to do a what is it, connection, build links with someone.
Yeah.
But I want to flashback to Manon down there with the kids, me down there searching for Sia. And my kind of, I imagine I would have looked and find out where you roughly were so that I could, as you're coming out, I don't know, probably conflicted emotions. I don't know your emotions. But I just kind of fall in step beside you. Manny, I want you to go somewhere with me.
All right. I'll do that.
Cool. All right. And I start walking deeper in towards the center of Bastion.
And as she's walking alongside you, she goes, "Was I supposed to ask you where?"
Well, I mean, it'll become apparent as we get there, but I want to talk to Bastion.
Oh,
I don't know if they'll talk back. But I intend to get something off my chest.
Okay. I will pray for you.
Do you pray to him? And them, to Bastion.
And she kind of goes, yes. And also the universe. Yes.
Have they ever answered you? Have you ever heard them?
She sort of stops and she goes, they're roaring in your ears all the time, Tavi.
They're talking to everyone then. Have they ever talked to you?
Yes.
And you see this like relief come across. Really?
I believe so.
It may be too personal. I won't ask what they said to you. It was overwhelming when they spoke to me. But something's gone wrong.
Okay. So with Bastion or with something else?
C is missing.
Well, we didn't bring him with us. You don't think he was upset about that, do you?
I can't imagine why. I've gone back. I've looked through all the channels. I've looked everywhere. I've talked to people. He's not supposed to be missing.
I don't know how he could be missing. The flagship wasn't attacked, was it? He was on the flagship.
He was on the flagship. I imagine they had to have fought some when Bastion was under attack. But like I say, I've gone through all of the video from when we left. It's like he just disappeared.
So maybe he has a hidey hole on the flagship.
Maybe.
I mean, took a ship? What did he take? They wouldn't know what was missing. I didn't hear anything about a ship gone missing. He didn't come with us.
Manny, he's important.
Okay. I mean, I think he's super talented.
No, I mean, he's like important in the everything will be fucked up if he's gone sort of way.
Well, if you feel that way, I definitely will help you look.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
I like Sia a lot.
I like him a lot too.
Mm.
But more than I just like him, there's destiny involved. I think by now we're getting towards like that center chamber, like where we probably have to go through our initiation bit to reach transcendence. There may be some, sort of talk to get through, but as close into an inner sanctum is where I'm trying to get.
Okay.
And he's important to Bastion too.
Sounds very specific. And she goes,
It is. I sort of yell up.
Okay. And she sort of nods and she goes, I'm here with you. So do what you have to do. If you are overcome, I will pull you out. Okay.
Thank you.
Hmm.
And listen, maybe they'll say something to you that they're not willing to say to me.
All right. I will ask about Sia.
And I think there is that meditation that happens there. This is a shared thing. Well, let's have the bonding roll here. This feels like empathize or confess, Tav.
I think it's confess.
Okay. So let's have you roll confess with
Especially
Manon.
how I think it's going to end up concluding. I think confess is where I'm going.
Okay.
All right. So I got one die. Are you? But it sounds like you're open to me, Manny. Does that give me
Yeah.
my second die?
Certainly, I guess. Yes.
Isn't that how
Isn't
that
that the
works?
rules?
Yeah, but it's if it's something they would appreciate.
Yes, I think it is. In that sense of that this is a standard way of solving problems in the way that she was raised.
So let's have you roll 2 dice.
Okay. 4 is my high.
4 is your high. So that is 3 links.
3 links.
And Manon records that.
Oh,
correct,
okay.
yeah.
Got it.
And I think there's probably a point where I and become visibly agitated and begin kind of yelling out at Bastion.
Then you hear the voice. You have no right to petition us. You are not of us. You are not Octavius.
You sent me here.
That was not me. You come from another.
What?
And then you feel that emotional pressure go back. Manon, you hear this too.
All right. And I think she turns around and she goes, Abby, Bastion answered you.
Yeah. Not my Bastion, Manny.
So, do you know what that means?
Not sure. But Manny, I saw the end of all of us. And my Bastion wanted to stop it.
Okay.
And they sent me here. And they don't even know me. I don't even belong. This was pointless.
And I think she stops. She goes, oh no. No, nothing is pointless.
We need to find see if that's possible.
Of course. And she goes, but I don't understand. Can you tell me why you are not of this Bastion?
The Tavi you knew,
Mhm.
my Bastion sent me and replaced him.
You see her think, and then her eyes kind of widen. She goes, "Oh,
But
If this was an anime, we now get a flashback to Tavi fighting the other Tavi on the planet, and then we come back.
but he's not entirely gone. All of that. Now I don't know what to do.
you do what you were sent back here to do. This is a matter between bastions."
That's why we've got to find Sia.
Okay.
Because when the end came, Sia was in the middle of it.
Cut there. Manon, what do you want to do for your first downtime action?
Holy smokes. That's- Oh, a lot of things happened when I was on Bastion. Let's see here. I think, Abby, would you be okay if I called a scene with like Manon sort of tagging along with you while you check out the new engines?
Sure.
Okay. And I think that's what it is almost. She's like almost to the point where when you take a step and then you like stop, she runs into your back. It's and then she goes, "I'm sorry, sorry. What sort of you thinking?"
Well, hopefully, this the smaller one remembers I helped it out.
You helped both of them out. They wouldn't have got out of there if you hadn't been helping.
Yeah, but I cut the smaller one loose. I hope
You did.
hope it remembers me.
Okay, so we're going with Perseus, right?
No, Altair, the
Altair.
weird
Oh, I'm sorry.
crystalline one,
Oh, I thought that was the big one. Oh, I'm so confused.
I think.
The
Let's
the
say
small
Altair.
one is Perseus, and the big one is Altair.
Oh, okay. Other way around then.
Oh, good.
I don't know.
Let's see. Because I don't know them either.
Doesn't matter. We're gonna check out both of them anyway.
Yes,
so.
we'll go introduce ourselves as it's only right and proper. Okay. You can tell she's kind of nervous, like super nervous, like engines are kind of, I don't know, important in a weird official-like way to her. You're far more laid back about this whole engine thing than she is. So
Yeah,
she's sort of like right behind you, but at your elbow. And
this is new and different to be more comfortable around an engine than Manon is. Like I think I'm used to like either an engine accepts me or rejects me. Like, you know, I don't feel like there's anything I can really do about it necessarily. So yeah, I don't have any like reverence for them the way Manon does.
yeah, she's like the opposite. She has a lot of reverence, and she also feels like they're the ones that will judge her, and they know If that makes any sense. So
Uh-huh.
she's very, so it's like she's just kind of right behind, like,
Okay. Yeah. Like, have you seen any like these before? They look, I don't know. There's
and
this
she's
one is
sort
the
of,
biggest one I've ever seen.
no, Altair, and she looks up and she goes, it's a very different style than of the other ones I've seen. Perseus, though, is familiar. There are others like Perseus, like a family at one time.
All probably from the same, well, wherever. Yeah,
Instead of
same world, I
ideals,
guess.
angels.
Yeah. Huh. I think I like go and yeah, like try to, I don't know how you actually like you know, get into these even, you know. So I think there's a lot of just sort of poking around when these are this, especially with Altair, because Perseus, I think,
I
you
added
know,
a
because
picture
it
of
is
Altair.
familiar.
Oh, you did?
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Oh, there's two different ones, which is kind of cool. It probably
Oh, we
changes
got an
shape.
Altair
That's
one.
pretty
Oh,
cool.
I'm sorry. I thought I
Like
didn't
this
know
like
people had
tall
already put
alien
one.
looking thing, and then this
Ooh,
Very
no,
crystal.
spiky thing.
what do you got?
I put it next to Perseus there, so it was kind of in the.
Ah, gotcha.
That's probably its
Ooh, I like that.
One's the
Transcendent
transcended
form.
version, and one's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
normal version.
Oh, does he show off when we come up to him and like switch from the,
Just like grow all
Oh,
the
that's
spikes. So
nice,
it's like,
yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Manny goes, ooh, pretty.
well, it's reacting to us. Hopefully that's a good, not a defensive
They're both very handsome, aren't they?
Ready.
yeah.
Ready. I am ready. We will go. You say we will lead the charge and we will go where we need to go. I am here for you. Are you ready?
Okay then. I guess that answered that question.
Come, we will charge forward and you will join the spirits of all those who piloted me before and died.
That sounds familiar.
They remain here to help.
Well, hopefully they've learned from their experience.
Some do.
I think I find this like talk of ghosts and pilots dying and it like kind of familiar. Because I'm used to piloting Chiron.
Kind of looking incredibly spooked. Like,
Yeah, man, I was like, wait, this is a good thing. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool.
so there are ghosts that will help you?
I'm not sure if that's a metaphor or not.
And you'll say, is that a metaphor?
No.
Well, all right.
The brave have no
Plug
need
in
for
and meet the
subtext
ghosts.
or illusion. Those are for
Really
cowards.
big round eyes. It was intimidating.
So, Betty, what do you want to roll for your interaction here?
I think that's a good question. So I think
Express?
yeah, do I have express even?
If you have a die.
Yeah, I have a die.
It felt like
Sure.
Zavi, like you were willing to go along with this. So shall we give another die to Manon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So 2d6.
All right.
Manon.
Here we go. Let's do this.
So Zavi, you get to record 4 links.
Mhm.
Can I cut away from there?
Yeah.
Okay. Radiant.
Hmm.
You're a different
Thank you.
color now, Radiant.
Yes, everything's gone very serious and goth, but not goth and serious.
Wait, your goth is red and pink and orange?
And black. Did you see the black on the mech?
Oh. Okay, I get it.
I'm just considering order. I think I want to make a connection with Lyra.
Okay. What does that look like? What do we see you doing?
I think it's like over and over again, these like repeated sessions late into the night, where he goes out flying with Lyra and is just like pushing through the same series of maneuvers over and over again, trying to get them faster, trying to get the percentages tighter, trying to get the efficiencies better, all that sort of thing. And there's always this like it never, or it's really hard for him to quite get there, or for it to go perfect. It's never going to go perfect. His mind is never going to let it go perfect. But also, Lyra has this engine damage, and Radiant is refusing to think about mechanical solutions, is refusing to hear that sort of thing.
Absolutely. And I do think that you like that damage and the pushing. I think that you can feel Lyra getting hungrier and hungrier.
This is useless. This is just shadow boxing. There's no real enemy here. There's nothing to fight against. Just waiting, circles, cycles, over again. It never ends. It just goes slowly and in order.
There is a way.
Wait.
Way for you to push past this barrier.
Yes. We have to become better. We have to become perfect.
We have more engines than we need now.
Charon isn't even usable.
But he is protected. But the little one, Perseus, we could assimilate him.
It might increase the overall strength of the team.
Yes. Yes, it might. There's a chance. The answer to the question in chat is yes.
Says, I'll have to look over how best to handle this. There are people in the way.
If they wish you to be the warrior that they want you to be, if you wish to be the warrior that you want to be, there are costs to be paid, and they should know that. What do you want to roll for this, Radiant? You haven't defied him, so I think Lyra will give you that extra die. But what are you rolling?
Flow, you might act in accordance with another's expectations.
Okay. So roll 2 dice.
Yes.
Okay. That's three links you will create with Lyra. Savi, what do you want to do for your first downtime action?
That is an excellent question. I think I probably want to talk to Radiant. I think because it makes sense because I'm there also like trying to figure out this new engine. So yeah, I think when Radiant is done and when I'm done with he's gonna run into each other. That'll work. And yeah, I think, hey Radiant, come I never see you around. Like I've seen you more today than I have ever before.
Things have progressed. The war has gotten more serious, and I'm needed.
Was
more
it
than I
not
ever was
serious before?
Maybe I wasn't taking it seriously enough.
Oh well, okay. Because I'm glad you're around now.
So you've been testing the new ships,
Yeah,
the new engines.
yeah. Well, with Kara and all cocooned up, I been trying out the new ones. I think I'll fly Altera if I can, assuming that's okay with the bishop.
So your assessments, that's the stronger engine.
Well, I have a stronger connection with it, I guess. I don't know if it's actually stronger, in use. A lot of it depends on, the pilot's strengths, I guess. Why am I telling you this?
Well, it's not. I think that's where you miss things. It's not just about your own strengths. It's about that deep connection with the engine. A unity between the two of you. That's what makes a strong pilot. So you need to follow that.
Yes.
You need to follow that connection.
Yes, I think I have a better connection with Altair. That's what we're calling it. It's it apparently there are ghosts of former pilots, and it says it's not a metaphor. But is that a normal thing? Have you ever heard of another engine having ghosts of other pilots hanging around in a, say, non-metaphorical sense? Because I'm
I
not sure how
imagine
seriously
that
to take that.
on screen, I think we see Radiant look over, and maybe there's a reflection into the metal
Yes.
there. And I think we definitely see looking out.
There are ways to make sure that you keep out those sorts of voices. Think of the rituals of the Bastion. Those sorts of strict
okay.
self-control. You have to make sure that you know what voice you're listening to, that it's the important voice that you listen to, that you follow.
All right. Suppose I can do that. I suppose
The rest of it's
have
just
to.
chatter and distraction. Things that don't matter anymore. He says, looking over at the reflection.
Yeah, all right. So you know what? Why unless you have something better to do, why don't we practice together a little bit? I feel like I need to actually go out and try this thing out.
Of course, yes. You should become familiar with the engine. We should learn how to work together on this.
Yeah.
You'll see. You've
Yeah,
been
all right.
underestimating your strength, but I think this is the change you need.
I hope so.
What do you want to roll that with, Savi?
I think, let's see. Hmm. Wow. Maybe confess? None
I
of them
like
fit
that.
particularly well.
Yeah. Radiant, do you feel like you are what's the phrase, accepting of this?
Oh, yes, definitely. This
Okay.
is
Okay. Oh, right, and I get another one for because it's connection.
it's confirming a story in his head. That's what I'm saying.
I got a 2. Actually, I got 2 1s and a 2.
Oh,
But that's still 2 links.
Cool.
So Radiant, record 2 links.
yes.
Manon, you will be called into Bishop Cranach's office. And you see seated there is the bishop, but also seated off the side is one of the survivors, the kids from the planet, probably the oldest of them, a girl. She's 12, maybe 13. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Sherry said, all right. Manon nods to the bishop and also to the girl. She has a name,
Her name is Sandal.
Sandal. Sandal.
Bishop says, Sandal has tested positive for link possibility. She's below the age threshold that we would normally put a pilot in, but we don't have time. She's under your command. Put her in your spare engine.
Yeah. She goes, I will make arrangements.
Dismissed. And he'll turn to her. That means you can go. And she'll kind of, a little scared, kind of stand up and kind of follow behind you. She's trying to be like more adult.
As soon as we're out of the door, or past, the bishop, and we're outside and we do that, I step back and I put my arm around her shoulder. And I said, well, I'm glad that you're going to be with me.
It's so much quieter here.
It is, isn't it? It is one of the luxuries we have.
They told me that if I did this, the others would be put in safer places.
I'll go on and introduce you to the engines. And then, once you know them, you will have a sense of who it is that you might work with best.
So we're between downtime phases. So I want to first give Tav an opportunity to call a scene here in between. And then maybe we'll look if we want to do a team scene as well.
Mhm.
Tyler, how do you want to do this? What would you like to do? And Patrick, this is kind of, I think this kind of sort of overlaps onto what you're doing. So
Well,
where do we
Patrick,
want to move the dial?
yeah, I'm guess you're not wanting to get out of Eclipse yet, are you?
I am open to the possibility. I had definitely thought that one of my downtime actions is going to be make a connection scene with Tav, to see how that goes. So I wanted to get some expression of Eclipse Radiant out first. That's why I went with the scenes that I did first.
Mhm.
So I could see a scene between us going that way. I could also see it not going that way, and the moment happening in the like a mission, a tense moment. What do you think?
I think Tav, because we can certainly hold off on that till connections, and we can just kind of do a team scene in between.
Yeah, maybe let's hold
Okay.
off on that.
Okay. So Manon,
Okay.
you're trapped on the Bastion, or sorry, on the vessel a little bit. But they have the new training facilities for you. The mess hall has been upgraded. They've made some things for you. But you don't have the luxury of like taking people around. So what do you want to do to build up your team?
Oh, I think that I'm going to introduce Sandal, because here's a kid who's going to be on our team as a pilot, and they have had no training whatsoever. And I'm kind of going, now, Sandal, we're getting ready for a mission.
Yes, that's what they said. I've been running the simulator for like a week and a half now, and I'm very good at it.
That's good. And she sort of turns and she goes, so what we're going to do is, could it go out with each of the other pilots? Okay, you see how they work in their thing. And I assume that there's like a way for another pilot to be in the pit, the thing with them, at least in most of them, except for the smallest, or is that not?
No, I think that seems reasonable.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something we haven't established, but I think that we've described these things as fairly flexible. So
Okay. And I think that what I say to each of the team members, what I'm saying when he takes Sunbelt out, show her the thing that was most helpful to you in the very beginning.
now I want to pause here before we go too much further. I want to know what everyone else's reaction is to this introduction.
12-year-old child.
She's tall. She's a girl, that kind of 13-year-old lanky, where she can kind of maybe look a little bit older than she is, but she's still a 12, 13-year-old kid. A little bit younger than Shinji, if we're doing Evangelion references here. I've got a picture of her there.
Oh, that's gonna break my heart. Okay, I'll go look. In the worst little.
Oh yeah,
Oh
she's
my gosh.
adorable.
Oh, she's so cute. Oh dang.
Those rosy cheeks, those trusting, innocent eyes.
The freckles, they're so sweet.
So let's go reverse order. Zavi, what's your reaction?
Not happy. Like, I don't think I say anything about it because like it's not like I have any say in this. I'm just kind of quietly thinking, well, let's just try to keep her out of the fight as much as possible.
Oh, she's not going into the fight. Don't get me wrong. This is just a sort of introduction to the thing. If that makes any sense.
The bishop said I was going
Oh.
along on the mission, though.
I know, but that's not what we're doing right now.
Oh,
Does
okay.
that make any sense?
Yes, yes.
Mission is
Yeah,
not
all right.
now. We have some
No.
time.
All right. All right. Yeah.
Radiant, what's your reaction?
This is reckless. This is far too dangerous for simulations. She's not ready for this sort of thing. And he's also like cutting eyes over at Perseus this whole time. Like, I mean, that's the extra one, right? Like, we have a cohesive team going into a dangerous mission. Breaking that up, I can't see how that would help anything.
Sir Sampson says, well, you can have that conversation with the bishop.
Oh, stamp.
I hope that you're thinking about what it is that you're going to introduce her to when you take her out. All right.
Yes, sir.
And I think she looks at Tavi and she goes, Tavi, will you be the first one to take her out?
Yeah, but I mean, Manny, she's had no training.
She's had training. She's had the exact same training we all started with.
We had months before we were sent on a mission.
Right. She does not.
We don't have an option. I understand. She's coming with us. But we're gonna have to really watch out for her.
Mhm. This is the first step.
Certainly, she could go up with Pegasus and I.
Yeah.
I'm sure Peg will love it.
I hope that Peg will love it.
And so, yeah, let's atop. I think we see the scene. Like, what is is there like a secondary pilot spot, or how do you imagine that? Or is she beside you or behind you, or what do you think?
I kind of like that idea of above and below sort of thing, so that like there's where I'm connected up above, and then kind of like a little thrust forward that may not be there normally. I think it's really just something Pegasus warps into place there, but it's so I can kind of look and see what they're doing, and kind of at the same time give direction and let them see what I'm doing.
There's a pause from Pegasus, and then Pegasus says, "She did wash her hands before she got in, right?"
Yes, Peg.
Well, let us show her the dance.
Indeed. And yeah, the one thing advice that I will try to convey to this young lady is, as Peg and I are going through motions, as things are happening, I don't know Perseus, but he's been around, or they've been around for ages. When I first got into Peg, believe me, they'll tell you I didn't know anything. Trust your engine. They'll get you through. Right, Peg?
That is correct. Most engines will not lie or deceive you, trick you. They are there to help you.
Now let me show you how pretty it could be.
You see her stop because she heard the most, but she doesn't say anything. She's just like, "Oh, yes. Yes, sir." I do think we see that dance. We probably had we saw that in like the first episode. I think we see you doing that ballet. Manon, who takes Sandal up second?
Think I nod to Radiant. Okay. Lyra's up
All right.
next.
And is the seating like arrangement thing any different in yours?
Yeah, it's a very sort of like floaty in a crystal liquid space sort of thing.
She's very quiet, though she does say this is very different from the other one.
Lyra is a very different engine from all of the others. She's been to the other side and back. Now, I imagine Octavius led you through several exercises, careful maneuvers, control.
Yes.
Well, that's not what we need in a battle. That's not what happens in combat. Everything's full on, all out, all the time. So, you say you've trained? You
Yes.
say you've learned how to control these things?
I say I've trained.
Let's see how you do at controlling Lyra.
And Lyra is fierce and hungry and echoes your own feelings. So I imagine it is a bucking bronco for her there as she goes along.
And I do think while it's while it's extreme and it's probably not wise or even nice as an opening lesson, Radiant's not like being obstructive. He is trying to guide her. I don't know he's good enough to teach her. But he is trying to make her better, make her more comfortable with controlling this wildness.
Why don't you roll me a d6? So I do think she
Very
is like,
middling 3.
yeah, she is shaken. I, you show her it is rough. She comes out of there, and I think that like maybe after she's gotten out and she's kind of walking away, you realize that she's kind of heading towards med bay, and she's holding one of her arms, and she didn't say anything the whole time, but you can see that she's either sprained or broken her wrist during the maneuvers. But she doesn't say a word.
Radiant will come over to her and say, "You understand now. You understand what you have to become, what you have to make of yourself."
Yes, sir.
Go see the doctors.
And they, it's space medicine, so they do the bone knitting and stuff, and they put that on her. She has like an extender glove on that hand for the rest of the time. So she, there's a few hours that she's out, Manon. Do you take her next, or do you put her with Zavi?
I think it's sit with Zavi. And I go. I remember my day, my first introduction. I at least knew all the engines before. Sundial doesn't even have that. What was your first ride like?
mean, it was Charon talking about bringing death, being an agent of death, which, you know, I appreciated the honesty.
I mean, interesting. That is not how Regulus is. So he implies it. That one must live for glory, because after that there's nothing. So I suppose he is talking about death all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd heard some of that, you know, when I first got here. I haven't heard much of that lately.
What do you mean?
You know, glory. It seems like nobody's pretending anymore. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Do the best can with what we have. The engines make us many more times what we are, but they save us too.
Well,
Because do you miss Charon?
I don't know if miss is the right word.
Hopefully Altair would be a good match for how you flow.
Yeah, hopefully. Seems all right so far. See how it reacts to two people.
He seems a little grandiose.
Try not to break any more bones.
Yeah.
Poor kid.
Radiance. I'm used to him only showing up for battles and then being gone.
I'm starting to see why.
Well, he's very much himself, isn't he? Sort of like an engine. And I think she stops and she goes, I'm glad you're here. Do you mind taking Sandal out before I do?
Yeah, no problem. And you know, you're exactly right. Radiant is a human engine. That's exactly what he is.
I don't want to think about it too much.
And I think we'll do a little montage of you two both taking her out. Everybody may take one link with
Sundown.
anyone you want.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. After I take Sandal out with Regulus,
Uh-huh.
I do ask Regulus, I say, what did you think?
I hope that bravery is enough, because she is brave. And she has something she wishes to protect. It reminds me of Octavius.
Be a better engine for her than Perseus.
Perseus is clever.
Perseus has a dark past.
And I don't think they say anything to that.
I just have a small thing.
Sure.
I think like at the end of Manon's session, when Sandal is like going off and sort of like getting out of her pilot's gear and, you know, like cool down locker room sort of thing. Radiant will come up to Manon and say, "That one, she's stronger than I thought. The Bishop may have been right about this. You may have been right about her."
Regulus says that she has something to protect. That makes all of us stronger.
She needs training still.
Mhm. But think about it. It sort of slaps your shoulder like a little bit. What is it that you have to protect?
I have someone that I need to keep safe. I understand that need.
All right, let me cut there.
Thank you.
Everybody take a link with whoever you want, or mech or other person. It's up to you. Let's take 5, and we're going to then resolve the extra downtime actions, and then we'll do the other round of downtime. Okay.
Okay.
So just a quick 5 break, and we'll be back. So we've got 2 make preparations actions to be done. And this is the research thing. So I would say that if from a practical point of view, if we're doing analyze, which is the clear, like the obvious fallback to that we should probably have Tav roll 1 and Manon roll the other. Does that seem fair with everyone?
Sure.
So the other thing I want to do is, we know with those questions, you get to, like, rather the research thing, you make preparations, but you guys get to ask questions. Because these are kind of like a pool of things for the group. If you want to draw a question from another player's playbook when you go to ask, or if another player wants to put one forward, I want you to feel free to do that. So we'll kind of open that up. So what is it that you are doing for the kind of the research and preparations, Octavius?
Well, the nice thing is, it sounded like we encountered. There are records of us encountering this Leviathan before. So
yeah, it happened before you travel back in time, but certainly Manon would have been involved in the fight, and this is the fight that changed Sia.
I think they're probably pretty used to seeing me in the old records area, and I think it's deep dives through every little tech spec that I can get, every bit of camera image we saw, every touch of something I can pull.
Okay, let's have you roll 2 dice.
Joke. I will get +1 effect level. And 2 dice. I got a 5.
Got a 5. So you will get 3 ticks on that readiness track. And then you get to do the gather information, which allows you to ask. I think what that is, where is the thing for that? It's a different place. 1 question and 1 follow-up.
1 question, 1 follow-up. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. You have additional effect rank.
Yeah.
So let's actually, it means it's another tick, and you get 2 questions and a follow-up.
Oh, that's good then, because I'll ask one of mine and then I'll open up to whoever has something on theirs that they'd like to, and then we'll decide off of that if we want to, which we prefer follow up.
I'll go ahead and put those 4 ticks in on readiness, okay?
Thank you. It's always the best of what really happened here when they fought the last time.
So part of it is that they got hit by 3 Leviathans, and it cost them dearly. They could not organize a great result. And they still don't know exactly how it happened, but Lyra appeared in the middle of the fight. There was some kind of explosion. They still don't know exactly what it is. Some people think it was a thanatological god death. Some people think that it was some sort of divine manifestation, but Lyra appeared and kind of at a crucial point helped change the course of it. In fact, battled Tizona particularly. Does that seem like a right summary from what we established before, Patrick?
And
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
a pilot in Lyra.
Right, Radiant.
Radiant appearing then, and it turns the tide.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Zavi or Radiant, do either of you have something on your list that you think you'd like to ask?
I have what's the vulnerability here, which might be useful.
That's a really good one.
One of the things is, as you're looking at the form of Tizona, its design and stuff, there's a weird thing when you're looking at it, and it has it's a little bit more like one of those what are they called? Not the Celestials from Marvel. Like it's a little bit like that, but different. It's got some different kinds of features, but it has that a more humanoid form. And the thing that strikes you is that it has some decoration on its head, like where the eye should be and stuff. That looks a little bit like Lyra. Like if you imagine that as an eye and an eyelash kind of thing, it's a little bit like that. And you suspect there might be like some connection, like Lyra might be particularly effective against it, or be able to like has some connection that you might be able to exploit. Does that seem like a fair answer?
Then as I'm looking at it, I'll enhance as I close in further in. My follow-up question then is does it feel like, because we've seen Lyra is very much energy drawing and that sort of,
fierce and hungry.
Yeah. Is it that they share the same type of energy, or does it seem that it is like direct oppositional? Are they the same or are they opposites?
Interesting. So Tizona is the thing that kind of like took the godhead and the energy of that. So it may have a hunger, but maybe a different kind of hunger, a very particular hunger. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, yeah.
I think given what you can figure out, I think that seems like about what you can assess that you would see an effect of energy draining. It's not unlike what you've seen Lyra do.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent.
Manon, 2 dice for analyze.
For analyze.
Yep.
Yes, indeedy. Okay, here we go. 2d6.
And you've got a booster too, don't you?
Oh, I have a booster, but you have to succeed in order for it to do anything, and I did not.
What did you get?
I got a 1 and a 2, lol.
Okay, so that gives you 2 ticks.
Okay. Which I guess does get us to the next.
Oh yeah, so as long as you but you have an effect level.
Yeah, I have a
boost?
+1 effect level.
Okay, so in fact you get 3 ticks,
Okay.
and you get 1 question and 1 follow-up.
Okay. So my question is always, what is most dangerous here?
The most dangerous thing is that this thing probably has consumed and contained that section of the divine force, and you need to attack this thing without destroying that or letting it destroy it. That's the most dangerous thing right now, the thing that is most kind of worrying and at risk.
All right. And that makes sense. And essentially my follow-up is, who is the person here on the ship who can tell me my best, or what I need to do that, because this is a god node. This is not something that we pilots truck in. So it's that sort of thing of going, okay, this thing's eating a god node, it's in there somewhere. How do we avoid kicking it off? How do we keep it from destroying it?
So one of the things is that they know that the node hasn't been destroyed, because had it been destroyed, like all their preparations and everything they've done down in Bastion would have collapsed. And I think that you will realize actually this Onmyoji, who they're sending along, may be the best person, because they deal, to assist you in this, or because they do deal in these kinds of matters and materials.
Okay. All right.
Does that seem fair?
Yeah, and we really haven't talked to him yet much,
No.
have we? Okay, so yeah, we will go and grab him then.
Okay. So that's our sort of free downtime actions. Let's go around and do the other downtime action. Let's come back to Octavius, and have you do your first question, or your second one.
My second downtime, yes. Boodly boo boo boo.
Repairs, links.
I promised her I'm going to repair Pegasus.
Okay.
Such a good and dutiful pilot.
Yes.
Okay.
It's gonna hurt us in the long run, but I've got to do it.
All right. So this is a recovery clock, which is 4 segments, I believe.
I think so.
Okay. So what are you doing to help with repairs? How are you doing that?
How to do it best with her. I think that there is a personal aspect to it. It's not simply like strapping on more armor. It's not, that's just not how it's done.
Right.
It has to do with us while in repair, she and I, and kind of maybe popping in and out of transcendence. We're in kind of a down moment. So it's that sort of like me transcending to the edge to help. And I think that it has to do with almost like molding her back to how she wants to be. It's more us working together and thinking and pulling energy, always pulling energy,
Mm-hmm.
to make the flow and the energy and the metals and her be that perfect image that she sees herself as.
Excellent.
I shouldn't have
So,
personified her as she, but I
That's
do
okay.
think of Pegasus as she.
so that feels like empathize. Okay.
I think so too.
Let's have you roll 1d6.
Yes, only one. That's a 3.
So that's 2 ticks. That's halfway along. Let's come to Manon.
So, is there something else that we need to have so that our, like there's a thing about like we got to be building something or something bad happens too, right?
What it is that is one of the earlier sort of steps on the Bastion's thing. Essentially, they go down a list of steps, and they'll do that before they go to repair the Bastion.
Oh, so to get the Bastion repaired, we don't want to have any ongoing
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Okay, so we don't want to do a thing. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I understood that before. All right. Okay, so it's who do I do bonds with? I think one of the things that I need to ask Zavi is, Zavi, are you ready to come out of Eclipse?
Yeah, I will definitely die in the next mission if I don't, so.
Okay, so I mean,
I thought y'all were damn close the last time the two of you talked.
yeah, so I
Yeah,
think that,
yeah.
I mean, we're kind of in that thing of talking about, and I do think that actually having Sandal here, out here trying Perseus by themselves, so I think that this is a thing where it's Zavi and I, and we actually, Sandal is going to take Perseus out,
Mhm.
and we're the ones that waited around after came back with their arm hurt and everything, and they ask if they can go out with Perseus like all by themselves, not with us out there at the same time. And we both, I think Zafi and I both look at each other and we're like, all right. And so we're standing there like in the hangar with our engines, is kind of how I'm thinking of setting this
Right.
up.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
And so, she will take Perseus. She's not as clean or as practiced as the two of you, but she will launch out, and you can have the audio from her as she's just trying to fly around there. I think you'll see her try to emulate some of the things she's seen, in particular, trying to find her center of balance, like Tav showed her. But also, she's trying to emulate what she learned from each of you, the sort of rough fierceness of Radiant, the balance of Tav, the control of Manon, the kind of the unpredictability of Zavi, all of these things. So what do you say, Manon? What is it that you do to do this? And why don't you read your Eclipse escape for us, Zavi?
Yeah. When someone engages, try to repronounce that. When someone engages you in a dialogue about your feelings and shows you that they have felt the same. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Manon just says, how did you feel the first time you went out?
scared. No, scared doesn't cover it. Doomed, maybe. I guess that's one advantage to being 13. You maybe don't think that far ahead.
It's odd. I always remember that first time and dropping out of the flagship. And I felt like I was going to keep falling forever, except that I was doing what I was trained to do, but I still felt like I was falling. And you're right. That feeling is doomed. I just didn't have the word for it then.
Yeah. You know, I mean, even if everything goes right in this this training run and everything goes right, the next mission, and then it's sooner or later it's not. Sooner or later it's not going to, and you know that. At least I know that.
It's because every time I go out, I just pray that I'm not the one that causes harm to Regulus.
I just hope I'm not the one who gets everybody killed.
Yeah, I think we're all thinking that all the time.
I don't think you need to worry about that. You seem to always have a plan.
Sort of laughs. What I do is I mimic Sister Lillian. She was always nice and bossy. And it worked. I would sweep along with it and things would get done and it would just be okay. So I thought maybe that's what I would do.
I mean, that whatever works, right?
I hope it's working.
Nice and bossy, sure. Yeah.
I mean, is it coming off the way I hoped it would?
Yeah, I mean, it's if that's what you're doing, it's working. So yeah. I guess you're imitating Sister Lillian well. I never met her, but if I ever meet someone who is exactly like you, I'll know who it is.
Sister Lillian, someone else who knew her. And I sort of step back and go, yep, that's me. I'm just faking it every day.
So, Manon, I think this is confess.
Yep.
But I think Zavi is on the same page with you, so you get one die.
Okay. I am hoping that this works. Four. I think that's enough.
So that is Zavi may mark 3 links with Manon. And do you think this brings you out of Eclipse?
Yeah, I think so. I think like the focus on, you know, sort of not being the only one who's like this. I think it brings me out of Eclipse, but also is like, oh, so none of us know what we're doing. I'm not sure that's better, but
so when you come out of Eclipse, you may clear your entire stress track and your transcendence track.
Okay. I don't have a transcendence track, so all set.
But if you did,
if I did, I would clear it.
Yeah. Let's come to Radiant. What do you want to do for your second downtime action?
I wanna make a connection scene with Tav.
Okay. Would you like to do it in the mess hall so you get that extra die?
Yes, because I keep forgetting that. And this is honestly a terrible scene to do in the mess hall, but let's make it work. So it's like
Late at
late
night?
night. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's just the glow of the vending machines, the minimal lighting on.
Because Radiant hasn't been sleeping, and I don't know, has Tab had a hard time sleeping?
Yes. I think that you find Tav like sort of lurking if you're coming to find him. Like sort of lurking in the glow of like a data pad and the occasional like little spark light of a vape.
Octavius, it's far too late. You should be resting. All of your numbers have been down recently. Have you gotten the charts that I've sent you?
Hey, they changed my meds. I had to figure out how much tweaking it took to, and I'll hit the little vape again, to get where I wanted to be compared to where they wanted me.
I'll be honest, you've seemed off recently. I don't think it's just the piloting, but it's affecting your connection.
How would you know what I'm like? I barely saw you until the last few weeks. Now you're just dancing around, Mr. Oh, I am good soldier boy.
I have a connection with everything that goes on with this ship. I have a responsibility. You do too. You have a responsibility to be your best.
You're so connected. Somebody's missing. I can't find them. And I miss them.
What? I haven't seen any reports of anyone going missing.
I guess you don't look into the engineers. You're up here with us pilots, right? See ya. You probably never even noticed him.
Mechanic Theseus? He resigned his commission. He left.
First off, that doesn't make any sense. You don't really resign. You certainly don't just leave. He's not on Bastion. Can't find him.
The flagship is better off. He was not suited to this work.
What do you know?
I know that he couldn't handle this sort of thing. I know that it takes strength out here.
You clearly did not know him. I know there is so much strength in him. And we all need him.
He was fooling everyone around him. He was just faking that he could handle this sort of thing. It wasn't working anymore.
What are you talking about? You act
Everybody
like you know him.
I know the strengths of this ship. Everyone could see that he couldn't stand up to this.
Everyone could see everywhere I go, they're wondering where he is. They keep asking me to find him.
Why? Why? He was weak. He was not what we needed There's so little time left. There's so few of us left. We can't afford weakness.
He was caring and he was smart. Because people recognize that in him. I don't think he ever did. And that's a big shame. But I don't know if you've noticed. These people in the ship, they miss him.
There's not time for that sort of thing. Do you know why we're out here? Why we fly so far from the Bastion? So that we can keep clarity. So that emotions don't get in the way of what we need to do.
You're wrong there. We need our own emotions. That's why we're out here. That's what the engines recognize. We have to be the ones who get in the engines and give a damn, because the folks back home are stuck. We need our emotions. We need the people we love.
Why
And I'm
is
missing
everyone...
one.
Why are you so hung up on this? Why are you so hung up on a random mechanic you barely even interacted with? It's not like you were close. It's not like you spent time outside of missions or the things that needed to be done.
I tried here. But I knew him better before.
Before when?
There was a time we were really close and things changed.
I don't remember that. I would remember that.
Why would you remember that?
People would remember that.
Well, you're the interstellar man of mystery. Let me throw one here at you. I've seen whole other worlds several times, and most of the time, all of the time, it just blows up. Yeah, it's important. Important fixing it. Important to me. Because I love him.
What?
I've lost him several times. But I'm going to make sure it's right. And I love him.
That's not... We don't have space for... I don't have energy for that sort of... That's not what we need. I'm not what we need. Radiant's what we need. Radiant's the only thing that matters. I just get in the way.
You've been hiding in him, haven't you?
I think like the colors start to fade. It's just, it's so much to keep up with.
You're here. You're safe. Oh, thank Bastion. And I just reach out and grab you and kiss you.
And I think it's very like stiff and awkward from Sia's side.
Sorry, I do that. I'm sorry.
I'm so tired.
I think I want to cut that there. Leave that open. There's a couple questions here. First, I think this feels like confess from Octavius or from Radiant. Does that feel right?
Yes. Yeah.
But with Octavius on the same page, that or express, I would also be good with that. What do you think, Radiant?
It does say confess would be
Okay.
better for like talking about
Right.
feelings and that sort of thing.
So let's have you roll one die. Okay. So Octavius, you may mark 3 links with Sia/Radiant. Now, the Eclipse question. Does this fix your Eclipse? Or do you want to hang on to that a little bit longer?
I think so.
Okay.
I think we sort of played through the beats there, and
Yeah.
honestly, given a whole session of being like ultra radiant, I could use not doing that again.
Okay. So yeah, clear your stress, and you clear your transcendence track.
Woohoo! And Octavius, you add a promise about keeping my secret.
Look.
No, a literal mechanical.
Right.
You write in a promise.
I mean, you can do it in, but
Okay.
yeah.
Right. If this is too much and you need to hide in this, fine. I won't tell anybody. You've got to come out of it every once in a while so I can know you're there. I need to know you're there. And so I suppose the promise is I won't reveal that it's radiant. I suppose it's it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Zavi, you have 2 downtime actions, I believe, left, right? Don't you get an extra one?
Yeah, I guess I have only used up 1. Okay, yes. I do then.
If you want to shorthand either of them, feel free.
I think I do spend 1 bonding with this new engine.
Okay.
Makes sense.
What do you roll to do that?
That is a good question. What do I roll to do that? There's no obvious one.
I think analyze or empathize.
I think it's
work.
analyze.
Okay.
Yeah.
So roll me 2 dice because you're working with your engine.
And you get an extra die for making a connection as well.
Uh,
You're only mortal.
Yes.
oh, you're right. That is just an extra die for making a connection, isn't it? Okay. Yeah. So anyway,
6, 3, and 1 more die.
wait. Don't I just get 2?
You hit 2d6, so I need 1 more die.
Okay.
Okay. So 6 is four links with your new mech.
All right. Cool.
I think that suggests that Altair like does have the voices of the other pilots there. But at least at this point, they're not overwhelming. They're encouraging and there and welcoming, and saying to you, "Be brave. We will get through this. We will get through this."
Okay. The fact that they are all ghosts makes it a little bit less
Yes.
encouraging. But apparently it's still okay.
Yeah. And what would you do for your second one?
I have not talked to Tav.
Okay.
So I
So-
think I go find Tav and like I think I go looking for Sia and see the note on the door and kind of like, oh hey, good for him, he got out, you know. And then go find Tav.
And let's assume that you catch Tav in the mess hall, and let's for time's sake actually like put this before
Okay.
the Tav radiant.
All right.
So
Okay. Cool.
So I'm in full emo.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey,
Tavi.
you look preoccupied.
Yeah. Sit down.
All right.
And I'll pull out a flask. You're one of the few that'll drink with me.
Yeah, that I will. I'll take the
I'm
flask.
screwing up all the chemistry.
What?
They gave me a new drug regimen.
Oh,
Fucking it all over.
oh no. Yeah, that's rough. You'd think they would have it down by now, but it's always weird for a few days. Just yeah, I mean, if you drink enough, you'll sleep it off, I guess. At least that's how it works for me. But
You like your new engine?
yeah, it's got some personality, but yeah, I seem to get along with it pretty well.
I've never met it before. It's unique looking.
It's something sort of just, well, like it's not 100% there. Like
Manny
it is,
said
it's solid, but
Manny said it was very excited that you were going to pilot.
yeah, it seems to, I don't know. I guess we get along.
That's good.
Yeah, I was kind of scared when Charon closed up. That well, I know how Pegasus feels about me. Not good. How is Pegasus, by the way? I saw you took some damage last time.
And we're working on it. We haven't quite managed to get everything smoothed out, but I think she's happy for the effort, or at least she was happy when I gave a lack of effort.
Yeah.
You seem more upbeat.
I think, I don't know. You ever have such a bad day that like one more bad thing happens and you just start laughing and you just can't care anymore? It's nice. That sounds bad, but it's good.
It's good you're laughing. I like it better than you being all morose and, oh, I'm going to kill you all.
I mean, no, I mean, you're right. I still am, but it's in between, you know.
No, laugh, be happy.
If you don't kill us all, or if I know Manon was saying that, you know, it's everybody's, and yeah, of course, everybody feels like that because it's true of at least one of us, right? Okay, the truth is, I don't have the attention span to be morose for very long.
I like that.
That's the truth.
Good. We, hell, you're not even the freshest recruit on this next mission.
Yeah, I know. That poor kid.
We're going to
How
have to
are
look
we
out
gonna-
for them.
Yeah. I guess it's not much different from having somebody in a pod. At least she is in a full engine. But
Yeah, I have to think maybe. Yeah, look, she's very eager. And I think she'll do
that's
good.
the scary part.
Eh. You know, when we first had you join, I told Manon I thought that if we weren't careful, you were going to die pretty quick.
I mean, you had every reason to think that.
But you didn't.
Yeah, you know, it turns out pure dumb luck goes some way.
We've stopped having to look out for you a while ago. You're a pilot and you're good. And now you gotta help look out for someone else.
Yeah.
Because she's not good.
She's kind of she thinks she has more control than she does, I think.
We need to give her time to learn.
Yeah. The bad thing is none of us know that engine either. So it's not like we can even warn her about its quirks.
True.
She's going to find them for us.
I think I have to kind of cut that scene a little bit there, if it's okay. Do you feel like that's confess or empathize, or?
I think it's empathize, actually.
Okay.
This is us actually understanding each other.
Yeah. Tyler Field, do you think you give another die to that? Okay. So Zavi, roll 2 dice.
3 dice, because we're in the
That's right.
mess hall.
4 dice because it's you.
Oh yeah, because that's right.
For those of you at home, 1, 1, 3, 3.
4 dice and none of them are a success.
At least it wasn't the Sherry thing where we rolled all 6s at one time. But anyway, so Octavius, you get 2 links with Zavi. All right. Zavi. End of session XP questions. Let's do those. You address a challenge with compassion and honesty. I think so.
Yeah.
So give you a point for that. You expressed your beliefs, drives, role, or background.
Roll inferior replacement. Yeah.
Okay. And don't forget, you can always put these XP on your stats rather than your playbook.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will do that.
You struggled with issues from your promises or obligations. Yeah, I think so. We saw you having to deal with being a mecha pilot and with this new recruit.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And you embody your eclipse and display the contents of your heart there. So let's give you another point for that.
Oh, okay. Just go
So
ahead and put
4
those
across the
aside.
board.
Cool.
Radiant.
Hello.
You address a challenge with mystery or ostentatious action.
I would argue a lot.
I
That's
think
sort
that's
of
fair.
what this was.
Yeah,
This
so
was,
2 XP for that. You extract your beliefs, drives, role, or background. I think that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
think
all
so.
of a piece. So that so we're at 3. You definitely struggle with issues from your promises and obligations there.
Oh yeah.
And you embody your eclipse and displayed that. So yeah, let's make a total
I'd
of
say
5
I did
XP.
both those. I would argue that last one I did both of those separately.
Okay, let's give you 6.
Clips and the content. Yay.
Manon.
Yes.
Address a challenge with kindness or self-sacrifice.
I would say that I was pretty kind to most people.
Yeah, I think throughout we
Yes.
saw that. I'll give you the 2 for that.
Okay, thank you.
You expressed your beliefs, drives, role, or background.
I think so. Yeah, my background: dutiful servant, team leader. Well, that's the next one. Sorry. Naive idealist. Yeah, I think I'm right up
Another
there.
point for that. So we're at 3.
Okay.
You struggled with issues from your promises or obligations.
Yeah, that was struggling as a poor Sandal, and then having to force my mean pilots to be nice to her at least long enough to give her a ride.
So we're at 4 points. You embodied your eclipse or displayed the contents of your heart.
I think I did to Zabi.
Yeah. So 5 points.
Okay.
And Tav. Address a challenge with foresight or revelation.
I don't think I did that.
Okay.
However,
Revelation.
I may. Do you think? Did I get a good revelation?
That last scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
So
go
give
with
you a
that.
point for that.
Thank you.
Express your beliefs, drives, role, or background.
I made a point to go through every single one of my background, obligation, role, and beliefs and
Okay.
drive.
So give you 2 for that.
Thank you.
So with issues from your promises or obligations, I think that's of a piece. So we'll give you another point for that.
Okie doke.
So 4, embodied your eclipse. I think you kind of did there.
I was trying to do that.
So let's give you another point for that to give you 5. Does that sound fair?
Did I display the contents of my heart as well?
Well, it's embodied or.
It's embodied
So the question is, did you do that a lot, multiple times?
I think I probably displayed the contents of my heart multiple times.
Okay. I'll give you 2 for that.
Okay. Thank you.
We're a little bit over. And you know me, I'm very, very time oriented. But I would like to do a quick stars and wishes. Things you particularly liked. And then wishes. We've got 2 sessions left in this last mission. So thoughts on what you want to see. So I'm gonna go back the way we came. Tyler.
Oh, this is fucking awesome. This was an amazing session. This was so character, revelations of character, interactions with character, so much from each of us. We were just very, very good. And Lowell, I thought it was a neat change up to block out Charon and have Zavi kind of move to a different one. I think that's going to be very interesting. but bringing in this new pilot that we're all so worried about, and that is just heart-wrenching. So beautiful setup, Lowell, to give us kind of a playground to basically just do downtime. But the downtime was so much emotion and real feeling that I think this is the game. I mean, we're fighting space monsters, but we're also lovey-doveying each other, and the lovey-dovey is the best part. So it was just spectacular.
Awesome.
Wishes, I'll be honest, I think you're taking us in the right direction. I feel really good about it. I suppose if it's our big last mission, high danger, I do want that. Because high danger gives Avi the chance to be a big damn hero. And I did pick up my fail-safe button playbook move,
Okay.
which is I restart the universe if somebody's about to die. So high danger leads us to really cool things.
Then I will give you what you have asked for. Manon.
Everything that Tyler said. Lots of good character play, lots of hard choices on what to do. Just a cruel framing. Why are you killing my little scout babies from the planet? Is so unkind. Oh, sorry. Oh, he's the worst, Tyler. Don't take lessons from him. Oh, yeah, that is. But also all the character stuff. I think Patrick's Radiant was blustery and 100% radiant and sort of overwhelming in a way that that you look at it and here's all these ace pilots kind of standing there and shrinking back from Radiant, I think is kind of the whole thing to it. So it was great to be able to react to that. I loved going to speak to Bastion in that sort of way, and then and getting to hear his response to Tavi and going, trying to figure that out. She has to be calm, but then eventually nice and bossy when she figures out what's going on. That was a sort of amusing thing to be able to articulate. And I love all my scenes with Zabi, I will admit. It was very fun, and I'm glad that we got you out of Eclipse. And thank you for providing a new pilot to help move that along, in the sense of it was a really good catalyst for coming out of Eclipse, I think, for Zabi.
Wishes?
Well, I guess I would like to roll nicely for once in a session of the actual thing. So that's it. Wishes. I would like some dice at some point. So that's all. Because the story's going to be good. I'm not worried about that, and it's going to be filled with tears and all that stuff. But I would like a moment of triumph at some point. So there we go.
Ethan, Zavi?
Yeah, I mean, stars to everybody for just playing their character to the hilt, I really like the introduction of these new engines that are cursed and haunted, respectively. And one has a swarm of ghosts. I'm looking forward to hearing from the ghosts. Yeah, I don't really have any specific wishes other than that, because I assume that mission will be fun and action-packed and interesting. Like that just sort of goes without saying with this group. So I don't really have any wishes for a specific way for it to be fun and action-packed and interesting.
Sure. And Patrick, Sia/Radiant.
I mean, I could go on for way more time than we have with stars, but I will try and keep it brief. This was great. You know, the for what could have been the housekeeping session or the boring downtime session, this was one of the best sessions we've had. It was so good. Tyler, I of course really enjoyed that scene between Radiant and Tav, and I love I love that we got to see, like, you've been not saying I love you for so long, for the whole game, and it even took like that whole conversation just to get to it, but it was such a great moment. Sherry, I really liked seeing how protective and nurturing Manon was to Sandal, and especially in that moment when you just like turned around and smacked Radiant back when he was starting to be an ass, and that was just, it was so fast and it was so perfect. And Ethan, I again, seeing Xavi work his way out of this eclipse was really good, and I feel like this is the biggest moment of character growth we've had for Xavi so far, when he's you know, at least for now, even if it's just for this, but he is like moving past that idea of I'm just here to die so that one of the others doesn't. And it was, I look forward to seeing where that keeps growing with Xavi. Wishes. As a personal thing, I've had so much of my character stuff be about how Radiant is here to protect Sia, and now I want to start seeing if I can explore like how Sia could protect Radiant. I think that might be an interesting thing.
Interesting.
For the mission, I love this complicated knot of how the Leviathan and Lyra and Radiant and Bastion are all tied together and connected, and anything that explores more of that, I'm super into. And then I think with 2 sessions and a big mission left, if we do want to try and fulfill Xavi's unlikely hero thing, like, Ethan, that is a decision for you to make. But if we're gonna do it, I think we should start next session by talking about if you want to do that and how we want to pursue that, because that's going to be something that will take all of us working towards it to really make it feel good.
Good point. Awesome. Thank you so much. That was great. This is a game where letting the downtime breathe, I think, is really striking and interesting. It finds that space for RP sometimes missing from Forged in the Dark games. And you know, we saw some of this in Mountain Home, but I think even this even more strongly points us in that direction for those downtime actions. So cool. I'm going to stop the recording.